What about your father on Mount Rushmore? It just seems like after everything you all have been through, everything that he's endured, it just seems to follow.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it, and he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize so many times over.
You know, one of the things I love more than just about anything is weird fake Christians. I don't mean weird fake Christians like these pastors who claim to adhere to the philosophies and the teachings of Jesus Christ, the man they claim to be the Son of God. I'm talking about people who really have no understanding of Christianity whatsoever, the doctrinal differences between denominations, no idea about the history of Christianity or really just anything. And I'm not talking about granular level stuff. I'm not asking about like, what's your favorite scripture? None of that. I'm just talking about basic stuff. And the Trump family is really, they are steeped as being hypocrites and liars about their faith. I very much doubt that Donald Trump even believes that there is a deity, a God at all. I'm sure he is just a non-believer, right? He raised his kids as non-believers. They're not believers. They're not Christian. They don't attend church. They don't know about the difference between the New and the Old Testament. They don't know about the new covenant provided by Jesus Christ. They don't understand exactly what the salvation message is. They don't fucking know any of this stuff. Yet they talk. They tried their best to do a convincing Christianese, kind of a language that they use. And they botch it at every moment. And this is a great example of it from Eric Trump, who was on, apparently, Real America's Voice has a morning show. They're really trying to be peppy with the energy to try to match what, you know, those saccharine, sweet anchors on morning shows do. I can't handle it. But watch Eric Trump here. And he's talking about the killing of Corey Comparatori, the guy who was killed in Butler, Pennsylvania, during the attempt on Donald Trump's life. The moment where Donald Trump absolutely was not shot in the ear. He wouldn't have a head if a round from an AR-15 came that close to his head. Trust me, it's just fact. And Eric is trying to really paint a religious picture here that God was there, talking about Corey Comparatori. I have to look at his name on how to pronounce it every time because I would get it wrong. Comparatori. He's saying that God was there, even though Donald Trump lived and Corey Comparatori is now dead. But trust us, God was there. What happened was God's will. Corey Comparatori, not important enough to live in the eyes of God, but Donald Trump needed to be saved. Apparently it was an either or situation. It was a binary choice for the strongest, most powerful being in the entire universe, the creator of our universe. Sorry, my hands are tied. Somebody's got to die, says Eric Trump. Watch this.
And a rifle round from 130 yards away.
And turned his head perfectly at the exact moment.
Just happened to nick him as opposed to kill him. That's a shot that can't be missed by a competent person with a rifle, right? And there's hundreds of those. I mean, I tell the story of Corey, obviously the incredible firefighter who's killed at Butler all the time. His wife told me that, that morning he woke up and said, Donald Trump is going to call me up on that stage. Donald Trump is going to call me up on that stage. And he knew something, and the wife's looking at him is incredible. I mean, his family's beyond incredible, and saying, Donald Trump's not going to call you up on the stage. What are you talking about? Like there's going to be 50,000 people at the rally. How faith is real. Faith is real. God was there. God was watching. Go back to 2016. I mean, we self-funded the vast majority of that campaign. He did, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know what a damn caucus was. We knew nothing about politics. I mean. I remember him calling me up, and Megyn Kelly was going to kill us on his immigration stance. He calls me up. He goes, honey, will you go on Megyn Kelly tonight? I'll never forget. I was driving down the highway to go home. And so I turn around to go back into the city. And he goes, will you go on Megyn? I go, Pops, you understand. I don't know a damn thing. I'm really good at building hotels. I'm great at the golf course world. I'm really good at commercial buildings and residential. I'm really good at operations. It's what I did every day. I don't know a damn thing about illegal immigration. And here we were, right? And there was a sincerity to our family.
What does one thing have to do with the other? And why are you talking in this weird, fake, earnest tone, Eric? His wife said Donald was going to pull him up on stage. The wife's like, what? What are you talking about? That's nuts. Faith is real. God was there. God was watching. Well, then why didn't God save Corey's life, Eric Trump? If God was watching, Why did God only choose Trump? Why didn't God save the shooter's life so he could go on trial and we could learn about the motivations of this sick, twisted freak, right? Right? Isn't that? What? Why not? Oh, earnest tone. We're talking about God, so I have to change the pitch and tenor of my voice. I have to seem super earnest and serious about this. God was there. Fake. None of this is real. Who believes this nonsense? Look, I know people believe it. I know people. The parents of dear friends of mine believe that Donald Trump is a mighty, righteous believer in Jesus, the Christ, who attends church not once, but multiple times a week. They believe this. They've deluded themselves, or maybe they were always just super deluded. I don't know. But that's not... Find me footage of Donald Trump leaving a church. That wasn't a funeral or some kind of an event. And then when you do find me that footage, show me him not acting like an asshole at the message that was preached, like right here in Washington, D.C. a few months ago, where he attacked the pastor, the female pastor, of course. Come on. He continues. Here's the deal that's so strange about it. He got himself into this weird rhythm and earnest, weird talk with his weird voice, and he couldn't get out of it. They kept talking, not even about God anymore. They're talking about Donald Trump and the Nobel Prize, but he couldn't snap himself out of the weird timbre and tenor and pacing and fake earnestness. It's just all... He is the worst son. He is absolutely the dumbest dumb shit who ever dumb shitted. Watch Eric Trump continue with the nonsense.
What about your father on Mount Rushmore? I know patriots will want me to ask that because they love that idea, the Nobel Peace Prize notwithstanding. But Mount Rushmore, it just seems like after everything you all have been through, everything that he's endured, it just seems to follow.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it, and he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize so many times over. I've literally been in that office. I was in that office for one conversation where he literally stopped a war. In fact, I was in the office recently for another one where he stopped another one. I mean, the amount of children, and I say children, young kids right now that are running around the world who are alive based on the fact that he stopped conflicts that otherwise would have spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
There are moms and dads out there who have their kids based on calls that he's made and you know, conflicts that he's ended kind of before they really got out of control. Mm-hmm. And they have probably zero appreciation that, you know, many of their children and many of the people they knew would not be there had it not been for him. And he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. And to watch so many of these presidents in the past get the Nobel Peace Prize who did nothing other than, you know, fund the Pentagon's war machine and create conflict all over the world and enter these 20-year wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that cost our country trillions of dollars and thousands of lives, yet these guys are getting Nobel Peace Prizes, yet Donald Trump is the one president who's actually never taken us to war. He's never gotten into a war. You know, he's done everything humanly possible to keep us out of the war, you know, and yet they kind of begrudge him that honor, which he deserves more than anybody. He deserves that Nobel Peace Prize. He deserves to be on Mount Rushmore, and I think in time he'll get both.
Well, the book is under siege. My family's fight to save our nation.
What do you do with that? What do you do with that? He ended a war. Yeah, you know, there's also wars that he ended that hadn't even started yet. Because, you know, it's great. There's so many wars. There's so many wars, y'all. Donald Trump deserves, you know what he deserves is he deserves like an extra Nobel Prize. They should give like 2 out to him for 1 year because he's done so many wars, ended the wars. And by the way, yes, he absolutely deserves to be, wasn't that the word he used? He deserves to be on Mount Rushmore. It's deserving. Everything is about what he deserves. And if people are mean to him, it's unfair. You know, your dad is a fucking toddler, right, Eric Trump? Your dad is a phoebe, a mental weakling, a physical weakling. He just displays cowardice in every element of his life and who he is. His very core and ethos is weakness and insecurity. And apparently he's passed that on to you either genetically, whether it be nature or nurture, you got it too. Weakling, cowards, stupid. The benefit for Donald Trump is between the two parties that he chose to try to be one of, he chose the right party, because the Democratic Party, for all of its failures, isn't filled with morons like the Republican Party is. Tell me what you think about that. Please, you can comment below. Before you do, though, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. It is free to do so. Hit the subscribe button below this video on YouTube. Make sure you're liked and following the Facebook page, Dollemore Daily. And then and only then may you communicate with this video. I control things that I have no control over, apparently, in my brain. I'm like a Trump. It's great. You can comment below this video. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me that old-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work financially if you're into it, if I bring you value on a video-by-video basis. After all, you're subscribed and you think there's something going on here that you appreciate. Click the join button below this video on YouTube, become a channel member. Make sure you're liked and subscribed again on Facebook. And if you really want to go the extra mile, you can go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. You can even cancel your YouTube membership and do Patreon, because they take way less money, and your support would go a lot farther towards supporting this channel. Help me produce these videos. I love and appreciate you very much. I will leave you alone and see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.